He is an icon in the ancient world, symbol of Egyptian power. Tut was only 9 years old when he rose to the throne. To his people, he was half human, half god. But until his discovery, Tut was unknown. There is almost no record of his life anywhere in Egypt except for the walls of his tomb. Egypt is one of the most popular countries in the Arab world. It claims one of the world's oldest cultures that descends from ancient civilization that emerged in the 10th millennium BC. After a long day of work, Egyptians often relaxed by playing board games. Several different games were played, including Mehen and Dogs and Jackals, but perhaps the most popular game was a game of chance known as Senet. Many historians still debate the exact rules of Senet, but there is little doubt that the game existed. Paintings depict Queen Nefertari playing Senet and pharaohs like Tutankhamun being buried with board games alongside of them. This pastime dates back as far as 3500 BC and was played on a long board painted with 30 squares. Each player had a set of pieces that were moved along the board according to rolls of dice or throwing sticks. King Tut's father, Akhenaten, forbidden the worship of many gods in favor of worshipping one, Aten, which in Egyptian means the sun god. King Tut was born in 1341 BC and had a very brief childhood as he was brought up to power at only 9 years old. King Tut was known for his many nicknames, which included King Tut, the Boy King of Egypt, the Boy King, the Boy Pharaoh, Tutankhamun, and many more. King Tut came from a very powerful family, as he was the 12th king of this great Egyptian dynasty. He was son of powerful Akhenaten, who reigned for nearly 17 years and was known as the Heretic King. Many believe that he was forced to abdicate, and soon after that, he perished. Such as King Tut's father, Akhenaten, many Egyptian pharaohs were overweight, but it was not a mystery why. Many Egyptian diets consist of beer, wine, bread, and honey that was high in sugar, and studies show that many Egyptian pharaohs were overweight. Examinations of mummies have indicated that almost half the Egyptian pharaohs were said to be overweight. Following a 17-year reign, King Tut's father finally passed away, making Tutankhamun the king at only 9 years of age. The same year Tutankhamun became king, he married Akhensoumen, who was his half-sister and also daughter of Hikaten and Nefertari. When King Tut was 9 years old, he got his wife Akhensoumen pregnant with 2 daughters. Unfortunately for Tutankhamun, both daughters happened to be stillborn. Since both King Tut's daughters were stillborn, he had no daughter or son to take over Egypt when he was done, making him the last ruler of that great dynasty. Due to King Tut's very young age, his first couple years were controlled by an elder known as Ai. While Ai was ruling for King Tut due to his young age, he reversed Akhenaten, who was King Tut's father, decree to worship Aten, in favor of the traditional polytheistic beliefs. After Ai transformed Egypt back into a polytheistic state, King Tut changed his name from Tutankhamun to Tutankhaten, which now stood for the living image of Amun. During his father's reign, foreign policy had been neglected. With foreign policy being neglected, King Tut sought to restore better relationships with neighboring countries. While some proof shows that King Tut's diplomacy was successful, many battles took place in Egypt and other surrounding countries. Despite King Tut not getting any action in battle, evidence shows that he was a proficient archer with great training in the military. While King Tut was reigning, he sought to restore old order and hoped that the gods would again favor Egypt. While King Tut ruled, he ordered repair of holy sites and continued construction at the Temple of Karnak. King Tut had a very short reign, with historians having evidence that it was either 8 or 9 years. During that time, he accomplished very little as a ruler, but the discovery of his nearly intact tomb in 1922 has led to many mysteries of his life and death. Surprisingly little is known about the life of the boy pharaoh Tutankhamun. but some historians believe they know how he died. Scans of the young kid's body show that he was buried without his heart or his chest wall. This drastic departure from traditional Egyptian burial practice suggests that he may have suffered a horrific injury prior to his death. According to a handful of historians, one of the most likely causes for this wound would have been a bite from a hippopotamus. Evidence indicates that the Egyptians hunted this beast for sport, and statues found in King Tut's tomb even depict him in the act of throwing a harpoon at a hippopotamus. If the boy pharaoh was indeed fond of stalking dangerous game, then his death might have been the result of a hunt gone wrong. King Tut's tomb was comprised of 4 main rooms: the antechamber, the annex, the burial chamber, and the treasury room. This tomb was extraordinary, as it was only one of 2 pharaohs' tombs ever to be discovered in Egypt that had not been robbed of its treasure. The tomb was significant for many reasons. The tomb revealed a great deal about the young pharaoh, his surroundings, and how he and other people from that time in history may have lived. This remarkable burial site was filled with priceless treasure that held up to about 5,000 objects. The most famous of the objects found was the solid gold death mask and coffin. It appears that before the discovery of his tomb, King Tut was nearly forgotten by historians due to other more prominent pharaohs. This discovery, however, has made the pharaoh an icon of Egypt and the world. King Tut's tomb is located in the Valley of Kings and is by far the best preserved royal tomb ever discovered. This humble tomb had been hidden for 3,000 years and had intrigued tomb robbers, but fortunately none were ever able to find it. British archaeologist Howard Carter and his workmen discovered a step leading to the tomb of King Tut in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. When Carter first arrived in Egypt in 1891, most of the ancient Egyptian tombs had been discovered. Although King Tut's tomb was still unaccounted for, after World War I, Carter began an intensive search for King Tut's tomb, finally finding steps to the burial room hidden in the debris near the entrance of the nearby tomb of King Ramses VI. On November 26, 1922, Carter and fellow archaeologist Lord Carnarvon entered the interior chambers of the tomb, finding the perfectly intact tomb of King Tut.